Hi, and welcome to Swedish Plantguys. Plant of the month, the Sansevieria trifasciata, or since 2017 it's actually called Dracaena trifasciata, more commonly known as the snake plant. Well, here in Sweden we actually call it svärmorstunga, directly translated to mother-in-law tongue, which is quite an interesting name, of course. Now, we have three different varieties in the studio here. We have I think the most common one is this one, the Laurentii. And then we have the second most common, at least here in Sweden, we have the Zeylanica, which is more green and this is more yellow in color. Then I have a special one for you, and this is the Moonshine, which has this really light green color instead. Now personally, I love the different varieties of the snake plant and have been taking care of them for over 25 years. And it is quite a good plant for you beginners out there because it's quite easy to care for, and also when it grows, and it grows quite slowly, it doesn't take up that much space. As you can see here, we have a huge specimen here, and it really doesn't take that much space in your home. Now, as usual, we want to know the origin of this plant so we can take care of it in the best way. And the origin of this is Western Africa, meaning high temperatures, high humidity, and it has to endure long periods of drought. And this will come in when we talk a little bit later about the care of the plant. First of all, when you go out and purchase your first snake plant, the first thing you need to do is, of course, choose the variety you like. And there are over 70 different species, and counting the hybrids, I think there are over 100 of different varieties of snake plants. So choose the one you like, of course. Next up is to take a look and see we have 4 different of the Moonshine variety here. So which one of these 4 should you purchase if you saw these? Well, take a look at how many starters there are in the pot. What I mean by that is how many of these different stems are coming out from the soil here. So this one actually has 1, 2, 3.5 maybe. I don't know if you can see that there, but 3.5 starters coming out from the pot. So taking a look at this one, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, actually there are 5. So we have 5 starters in this pot. So choosing between these two, I would actually choose the one with the more starters in the pot. Another thing to look for is if there are any roots coming out of the pot here. It doesn't have an extensive, huge root system. So if you can find a snake plant that has roots coming out from the drainage holes in the bottom here, it's actually a good thing because it's showing you that it has a good root system and that it's thriving. So now we have chosen our snake plant to go to our home, and it was this one because it has the most amount of starters. So where should you place this in your home? Well, that's the good thing about the snake plant, because you could potentially place this almost anywhere. But know that this is a plant that actually thrives and wants a lot of light. However, it can withstand darker placement, meaning you can place it almost anywhere in your home. But when it arrives to your home, please make sure to place it somewhere where it gets a lot of light, at least for the first couple of months. Then you can move it somewhere where you want to have it. Now I want to add something here, that if you place it somewhere where it gets a lot of light, it's going to thrive. That means that the new leaves that are coming out from the pot are going to be thicker and wider. Now, how wide is depending on which variety you have. However, if we look at the Laurentii here, if this is a good width of the leaf here, if we place this somewhere where it gets not that much light, what will happen is that the newer leaves coming out will become thinner, not as wide. It's not a problem, but know that the more light you give it, the thicker and healthier it will look. It will survive in that dark placement, but there is a small difference. So when should you repot your snake plant? Well, you don't have to do that very often. This is actually a plant that likes to be a little bit root bound, meaning it thrives of having lots of root in a small pot. So, but when you see that the plastic inner pot here starts to get a different shape, it's not round anymore, then maybe it's time to do a repot. And when you do that, make sure that you use a soil that has really good drainage. Meaning, don't use a standard planting soil. That actually absorbs quite a lot of water. You can use standard planting soil, but mix it up with, for instance, sand, pumice or leca to make sure you get that good drainage. I know some people actually use succulent soil, which have really good drainage and not that much nutrients. And we've never done that, but I know that it works perfectly. So that is also a solution to this. So how do we care for our snake plants? Well, the most important thing here is that we never give this too much water. This is a plant that wants the soil to dry up almost completely. How do we know that? Well, one thing you can do is that to make sure that before you water this plant again, make sure that the topsoil, and you can feel down into the soil 1 or 2 inches, meaning 2 to 5 centimeters down into the pot. It should be completely dry. I mean desert dry before you water it again. And also, when you have watered it, make sure that you remove the excess water that could be coming out from the drainage holes in the bottom here. And that is the other thing. Make sure to always use drainage holes with your snake plant to make sure it never stands in water. If it stands in water, it will get something called root rot, meaning that your roots will start to decay. And you will notice that all entire leaves here will just start falling off and rot. So make sure that it is bone dry before you water it again. As you can see here, this snake plant is extremely dry. The soil is just bone dry, and we don't have any problems with this plant. I'm actually going to wait a couple of days more before I water it again. So bone dry before you do anything again. So a bonus tip for you is actually that you can make cuttings out of your Sansevieria, and it's quite easy to do. If you want to know more in depth on how to take care of this plant, we have a video you can go and watch. But the extra bonus tip here is that what do you do if you have some leaves that are not doing what you want? I mean, this leaf, we would want it to look something like this. Now, this happens. It's not a big thing, but it actually makes the entire look of the plant, it looks like there's something wrong with it. There's actually not, but what can we do here? Well, we can remove this leaf. And not only remove it, we could also use it to make new plants. So we're actually going to remove this leaf and make cuttings. The first thing you do is that you make sure to use a scissor that is sharp, and you have cleaned it, of course. Make sure it's clean so that you're not transferring any bacteria or other nasty stuff to the cutting or to the plant. So you just cut it off as far down as possible here. I actually want to keep this little starter down here, so I'm going to cut it a little bit over that. Like this. Now we can use this to make a lot of cuttings. You could potentially just cut this off, put it in water, and have one cutting. But you don't have to do that, because you can actually create, I don't know, we can maybe get 5 or 6 cuttings out of this one leaf. What we do then is that we start at the top here, and we go down and see I have a small water vase here, and I'm going to place the cuttings in this water. It's just normal tap water here from Sweden. If you know that your tap water could have some, if your tap water is not good in your country, make sure to use bottled water, because you want clean water. But this is just water. So I'll make sure to see that we take the length that is okay for this vase. And something like this. Then what we do is that we don't just cut this straight off. We usually do like this. We cut it in a small A or an upside down V. And I'll show you like this. What we get here is a cutting that looks like this. Now, why do we do this? Well, 2 reasons. First reason is that when I did this, now I still know which way is up on this leaf, so I know where to make the next cut. And also, when I'm going to put this cutting into water, we've actually extended the length of the cut here. So if we just made the cut straight 90 degrees like this, we would have had this much of an area that could potentially grow roots. But by making the cut like this up and down V like this, we are actually getting almost twice the surface area of that cut. Meaning it's good, because we want it to start grow roots from here. Then I just put this into water like this, and we can make a couple of more cuttings from the same leaf. There you have it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 5 cuttings from one leaf, and now it just takes a little time. It could take up to 3 months before you see any roots coming out from the bottom of these cuttings here. So have patience. It's our experience that if you exchange the water here 1 or 2 times a week, that is enough. You could also exchange it once a day if you'd like to. Just make sure that the water is clean. And wait. Just wait until you see that you have roots here. And when you have 2 inches of roots, meaning around 5 centimeters, then it's time to place this in soil. So that was the plant of the month. Now, what did you think? And do you have a snake plant in your home? Which variety do you have? Which variety do you love? Please let us know in the comments below. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where you can get sneak previews on upcoming videos and sometimes a little bit more. If you haven't followed our channel yet, please do. Just hit the bell as well so you get notification every time we put up something new. Now, until next time, hej då!